And I'm now sharing with you my letter written on August 31st, 2020, and sent at 12:52 p.m. Central Standard Time to Mr. Winn, Department of Justice's, the National Department of Justice, Civil and Privacy Rights Chief, Captain, whatever you'd want to call it. Mr. Winn, I'm writing you in regards to a severe and long ongoing violation of privacy and rights. It began several years ago following an unlawful termination by the state of Iowa, which was followed by an unlawful arrest due to my ex having very unprofessional ties with local law enforcement in a small town. This led to self-preservation in the hopes of keeping all trespasses silenced. Since its occurrence, there has been immense trespasses and conspiring among small town police department and other police departments, primarily Omaha Police Department. After I relocated from the small town, they have infiltrated my workplaces using supervision and peers for environmental engineering and surveillance, churches, primarily Westside Church, Pastor Kurt Dodd, for spiritual manipulation and even threatening. This spiritual manipulation was very damaging to me as a person, and in fact, I am not able to return to church until this all ceases. Used my roommates in several homes for illegal surveillance and indirect intimidation. Even placed 2 women into my life several years ago for defamation and entrapment, both of which had admitted it to myself. One of which I had twins with, but cannot see them due to the continued use of their mother who was in trouble with the law and also works for the state of Iowa facility. Their tactics have been beyond atrocious, even placing several false charges on my record to deter representation. It is nothing short of systematic abuse and oppression. They have been using my phone for audio surveillance for several years now. Which allows them to conduct their presence patrols for intimidation and intrude on my personal life, enabling them to stay one step ahead of me when seeking advocacy in every aspect of my life. Not to mention continue with their manipulation and games when it comes to trying to get me to believe that they can control my situation's outcome. They have been successful thus far at their systematic oppression, but I assure you that this will not stay in-house forever. As I was a strong rights advocate for those without a voice while working with the disabled for the state of Iowa, which was partially why I was targeted. So the rights of my children and I will eventually be restored. This situation has the severity and longevity of no other case that I know of. The rule of law, constitution, policy, procedure, morals, and ethics have all gone by the wayside. I have a book that is nearly finished regarding my trials, tribulations, and potential triumphs the last 5 years. Used, Abused, and Amused, Story of Warriors, wrote by Rudy J. Camarillo on Amazon KDP store. Plug. This is my way of finally being heard after trying to keep it in-house, which if possible I would still like to do for my children's sake, but all forms of advocacy in this matter have either been negligent or detoured. I'm coming to you in hopes of true American advocacy and finding an entity that truly believes in their oath and mission. Tick, tock, tick, tock. As this is a trait that has went by the wayside in this area of the United States. I assure you that this is all beyond factual and holds much substance. It simply requires the proper entity to conduct an investigation in order for my children and I to have our rights and quality of life restored to American standards. As a Marine Corps veteran, these rights that have been violated may hold much more significance to me than most. Not to say that anyone would ever deserve this level of violations. Any and all efforts are by all means necessary and appreciated. I thank you for your time and pray that proper initiative is taken at this time, at this level, with an unbiased opinion based on preservation, along with respect for the rule of law and the American Constitution. Respectfully, Rudy J. Camarillo. Now that was to Mr. Winn of Privacy and Civil Rights, United States Department of Justice, Washington, D.C., Then he returned a letter from Department of Justice, Washington, D.C. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. In addition, the U.S. company is handling for someone your all's personal information. Finally, we are unable to provide you with legal advice. We can only suggest that you may wish to seek assistance from a private attorney. Finally, we are unable to provide you with legal advice. We can only suggest that you may wish to seek assistance from a private attorney. For we can be of no further service to you concerning this matter. Sincerely, the Office of Privacy and Civil Liberties, United States Department of Justice. So they're basically saying they can't do anything, get a private attorney, right? Well, you get that going up the chain of command, right? Because they're all covered under the umbrella, right? If you're all in the same business, you're going to look out for each other. Well, it's their jobs and their duties to uphold the oath and ensure that those below them, their subordinates, uphold the oath as well. Or else there's no chain of command going up. It's just all flat, and nobody polices their own. It's kind of ridiculous. So really, they don't want to get involved because they know their authority over these authorities that have done it would trump them, and it would bring the truth to the surface, which if you had a private attorney, it would all be publicly known and could be disclosed with me, correct? So they don't want to do anything, but I absolutely need an advocate. I'm putting this on this page here. You're probably going to hear my other reaches for advocacy within the FBI, DOJ, and stuff like that relentlessly since 2018, and this started when it was 2015. It took me a lot of courage to get to there, but that was to Mr. Winn and their response from them, and they say to go get a private attorney. I've talked to the Department of Justice in Iowa too, the Attorney General in Iowa before, and he said, you got to understand, we're on the same, these guys are under me, you need to get a private attorney. So we got DOJ in Iowa telling me to get a private attorney. We got Washington, D.C. telling me to get a private attorney. But I've contacted 278 attorneys, many of which get hungry and take it off the bat. Then they get back at me a couple days later after the course of justice has been obstructed or perversed. And, we have complications. What do they call it? Conflict of interest. So I'd like to see every single piece of paper and report my name's been on, to tell you the truth, and I believe I have the right. So that was to Mr. Winn, DOJ. Please either rewind or skip forward to the next testimony. God bless you guys. God send me an advocate.